Hello and welcome back to Game of Trades, your #1 channel for videos on the stock market and cryptocurrencies. This video is going to be focused on Bitcoin that's recently made a 20% correction here from its all-time high. A lot of people are calling for this to be the beginning of a larger move down on Bitcoin down to 20K. There's still a tremendous amount of fear in the market. Not many people convinced that this is the beginning of another move up in the bull market. So today we're going to dive deep into the data, into the numbers, into the technical price action to see what type of price action we should be expecting over the next few weeks. Now, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. We take a look at Bitcoin multiple times a week, guiding you guys through the price action, through this massive bull market in an asset that we think is a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you're interested in following that with us, make sure to smash that subscribe button. And now without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so the first thing that I wanted to take a look at in this video is quickly the technical price action. So we have this beautiful price channel here. This is on the log scale. You're not going to be able to find it on the linear scale. This is why we're looking at the log scale right now, because the technical picture is just so beautiful, and we're currently seeing Bitcoin test the bottom of this channel, and it's doing that on the 8-hour chart with divergence for the first time since the bottom right here at 28K. So what is divergence? We have the price making a lower low here and the RSI making a higher low. That's a massive deal here. We had the same thing between May and June 2021, price making a lower low, RSI making a higher low. That marked the 28K bottom and set up the stage for a 120% run from that level. So this is not a development that happens very frequently. You don't often get bullish divergence on Bitcoin during a bull run. That just doesn't happen, and when it does happen, it's a pretty massive opportunity. So that's just what I wanted to start off with. Now let's actually take a look at the on-chain data. This is one of our favorite indicators to use on Bitcoin. It's the total transfer volume and loss. It tells you when other investors are capitulating. If there's a large chunk of the total volume that's currently in loss and that's being transferred, right? Similar to the COVID crash here, you had a huge amount of Bitcoin being transferred at a loss. That's a sign of capitulation, and that marked the bottom of, I believe that was the beginning of a 10x from around 5.8K to 58K. We had the same thing at the bottom of the bear market here, capitulation. Then once this comes down, you start to see a major move up being formed here at 40K, same thing. We've looked at this multiple times on this channel before. Look at what's happening right now. We're seeing major capitulation right now on Bitcoin. So I think the short-term risk reward here is absolutely beautiful. There's very limited downside and a lot of potential upside for those capitulations to come back into the market. And the fact that that's happening with divergence at support, that is nice as well. Now, if you want to actually see how useful this indicator is in terms of the historical data, we actually made a tweet on it a couple of days ago. We can draw a nice downwards price channel here on the total transfer volume and loss, and every time that this indicator comes into that upper end of the range, it triggers a bottom. Systematically, it triggers major bottoms. So for us, that's a pretty high conviction call here. We're calling the bottom at around 53K at that support line. We called the same bottom at around 40K in September. Let's see how this plays out. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, if you're learning something new, if you're finding it useful, do not forget to smash that like button. It helps our channel out massively. We really do think that we're bringing a lot of value with these videos, hopefully helping out a maximum number of people to stay on the right side of the trade. If you agree with that, make sure to let us know. If you don't, make sure to drop a comment down below to give us some feedback. There's one more indicator that's been extremely useful to us over the past couple of months, and that is the revived supply last active 5 years ago. Again, this is smart money. These are holders of Bitcoin that bought Bitcoin over 5 years ago and have held ever since. And so this is an incredible topping indicator. It finds local tops incredibly well. For example, here that November top, you had a surge in the revived supply here that eventually led to that nice correction, consolidation. Same thing in January, big surge in the revived supply on that move up. And we had a very similar development right here at around the all-time high. You had a lot of those Bitcoin being sold at that all-time high. That helped us identify this nice correction that followed. But now look at what's happening. We're seeing this indicator come back down to a very low range. This is good news. If you look at what that corresponded to in 2020, you had this come back to the low range. It marked the beginning of this move up in January. When it came back down here, it marked the beginning of this next move up in February. So not only does this indicator find local tops pretty well, it finds local bottoms as well. Data like this is probably the most important part of trading and investing, regardless of what asset you're in. Trading and investing is all about outperforming other players in the market. And if you want to do that, you have to have more information than them. Having access to data like this is probably the most important thing you can do. It tells you when to enter, it tells you when not to enter, when the market is hot, when it's not. Now, we've just been so ahead of the game on Bitcoin over the past few months. That's not because we're some sorts of trading gods or because we're geniuses, not at all. It's because we have access to high quality data like this. In the weekly crypto overviews, we look at all the data that we find important and that we think can give you guys an edge. We carefully analyze it and give you guys our conclusions and convictions. Now, our recent Black Friday sale was just a massive success, and you can still take advantage of that 30% discount. So check that out in the description below. Our goal at Game of Trades is to reach a maximum number of people, build a community of traders that share their ideas with us. We have so many new features coming up on the website in the next few months, in the next few years. So I hope that you decide to join us. Now, in this next part of the video, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take a look at the cyclical aspect of Bitcoin and try to use that cyclical aspect to give us some projection into the next few weeks, next few months of price action. Now, if you know anything about Bitcoin, you'll know that it has a 4-year cycle of bull and bear runs, and that correlation is incredibly strong. This is not the type of thing that you see on the stock market because you do not have a halving cycle where Bitcoin supply goes down in a programmed way. That's just not something we have on any other market. And so that is something that makes Bitcoin unique, right? It has a very cyclical aspect based on that 4-year halving cycle. Now, we've discussed quite a few times the similarities we have between this cycle in 2020 and the 2013 bull market cycle. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that in 2020, we had a very relentless run up to the top here, just uninterrupted price momentum leading up to a new all-time high, which is just not something we saw throughout 2017, where we had multiple 30-40% corrections leading up to one big top. In 2013, you had a similar type of thing, big momentum move up, no corrections along the way. Then you had a sideways period of consolidation and then another momentum move up. So now that we've had the recovery back up to the all-time high, we wanted to check out if this move here on Bitcoin was similar to the move that we had in 2013. And if so, what it means for the next few weeks of trading. So here I've zoomed in into that 2013 bull market. You have the first big move up, consolidation, second big move up, and I've divided that second half of the cycle. You have the big first top, then the correction bottom. You have the first significant high before a small correction, then you have a second significant high before a small correction. And so I divided that into different zones, and we can take a look at the number of days that it took for those phases to occur. And so it took around 3 months for that first phase, 2 months for the second, 2 months for the second, and then just over a month for that third parabolic phase. Now, I just want you to remember here, and you can go back on the video if you think that's useful, top, bottom, top, top, top. right? Those are the key levels that we're looking at. Now, if we take a look at 2020, I've divided this part of the cycle in the same zones. And that's one of the things that's fascinating, is how similar the recovery to the all-time high has been to the 2013 move. You have top, bottom, top, top, and perhaps another top. So if we take a look at the number of days that took to occur, you have around 3 months for this move, just under 2 months for this move, and just over 2 months for this move. So the price action is incredibly similar. The number of days is incredibly similar. Now, this is all hypothetical. We don't like to do these kinds of videos too much, but you just cannot deny the cyclical aspect of Bitcoin and how similar this looks to 2013. Now, if we follow that same pattern, could that mean that this last phase only lasts just over a month? If what we took a look at in the beginning of the video with all the on-chain data, the transfer volume and loss, the revived supply, if all of that happens and we start a powerful recovery, that could mean that we're heading into price discovery now, and that's the moment where Bitcoin is the most powerful. This is how Bitcoin behaves. As soon as it takes out the all-time high, it goes into explosive moves in very short amount of time. And that happens systematically. As soon as you take out that all-time high, it takes on average 20 days for price to double from that all-time high. Now, that's about all I wanted to cover in this video. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to smash that like button. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to continue following this crazy asset with us. Now, in the meantime, I wish you good luck on your trading and see you next time.